Welcome to the Our Forever Smiles podcast, a podcast created to support mothers of children who were born with clefts and those who love them. I'm your host, Laura Arroyo. Hello, and welcome back to the Our Forever Smiles podcast with Laura Arroyo. I am Laura Arroyo. Before we jump into this episode, I would like to invite you to join this community to hear conversations with other cleft moms and advocates that will help you feel supported along your journey. All I want you to do is click on the follow or subscribe button. I love your support, and it's incredible to see us all come together, and we're just getting started. So thank you so much for subscribing. And yeah. As a note, we are not medical doctors, and we do not intend for you to use the information that we share here as medical advice. We are parents and advocates who love our children, and we're just sharing our own personal experiences. Today, I am so thrilled because I have a kind of a dynamic duo. We have Britany Filipkowski, right? Is that how you pronounce it?
You did it.
I feel like I've seen that name before, Filipkowski.
The eye doctor.
She proudly. Oh.
No relation, though.
Oh, wow. She proudly walks beside her daughter, Sophia, a joyful and courageous young girl born with a left unilateral complete cleft lip, maxilla, alveolus, and palate. From the start, she has faced her unique journey with strength, resilience, and a bright spirit that lights up every room. Britany is sharing her story of hope and determination and the power of a beautiful smile. Welcome, Britany and Sophia.
Thank you. Hi.
So Sophia has agreed to halfway be in this.
A little bit.
So if she is a little bit. So if she will stay as long as she feels comfortable, and we will accept that. So welcome, Britany.
Welcome. Thank you. It's good to be here.
Thank you. Thank you for your willingness to come on and, of course, to share your story and also to share Sophia's story. I think that it's incredible and so impactful. I think one of the things that also drew me to your story specifically is like we have a lot of moms that come on and they still have like babies, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Sophia being 11, she's 11, right?
Yes.
It's she is, well into her journey in some ways. Has she been through bone graft?
Yep.
Or is that something?
She just did the bone graft last August. So now she's in the braces phase.
Wow. So we'll talk a little bit about that because I think that it's so important for families to know and what to expect for in preparation for that particular surgery as well. We talk a lot about cleft lip surgery and cleft palate surgery, given that those are the surgeries that we have like within that first year where really the mom is the one that's like in shock and going through a lot of emotional stress and just feeling worry and anxiety about all of these things. And so I want to go back to that. Like what first of all, is Sophia your only child?
No, so I have two other. I have the 3-year-old and 2-year-old.
Oh.
They keep me very busy.
I imagine. Okay, so 11 years ago, your first baby, like when did you find out about her cleft?
So when they do the 20 week anatomy scan, my husband was in the military at the time, so we were stationed at Fort Bragg. And I got a phone call when I was at work saying, "Hey, your anatomy scans came back, and your baby had an abnormality of a cleft lip." And I was like, "Well, what is that?" They're like, "Oh, we'll just tell you when you come. Don't look it up." and they hung up. So
Okay.
what did I do? I looked it up and I was like, oh my gosh. Like, what is this? What is happening? And they make your mind turn until you actually go see the doctor.
Yeah. Do you remember if you were able to get in, like, right away? So I'm in North Carolina. I actually used to live in Fayetteville,
Oh, it's
and so
where I was.
I'm very familiar with, like, Fort Bragg and stuff. Were you at the military hospital?
Yes, Womack.
Okay. And so were you able to get in? I've heard mixed things about, like, military
Mm-hmm.
medical care, like, often not great, but, um, I guess were you able to get in right away from that moment?
It was like your normal two week comeback kind of checkup to
Mm.
like go over stuff. Um, but it wasn't like a right away, hey, let's come in and talk about this.
Hi, I am so sorry to interrupt the show, but I just want to tell you about today's sponsor. Today's show sponsor is Sienna Darn Media Integrated Marketing Agency. Sienna Darn Media is more than just a marketing agency, they are your partners in progress. Their mission is simple to alleviate marketing bandwidth, allowing creative business owners to focus on what they set out to do create. Sienna Dawn Media empowers creatives to thrive without the burden of managing their own social media and marketing campaigns. Visit siennadawnmedia.com. And so what I guess, automatically you start Googling what are some of the thoughts that you were having during that time? And then also like were you able to tell your husband right away or did you also have to like wait and tell him because he was away?
No, he was at work, but when I got home, and of course I called him, and he was like, "What is that?" And I was like, "I don't know."
Mm,
Um, but a lot of the emotions, you go through of like, do you have this on your family? Like, what is this? My family doesn't have this. You kind of like go through the genealogy of stuff, and
mhm.
then I was like, did I do something wrong? Because I was 21 when I had her, so I was like a baby. Never don't understand anything about kids, babies, like how this is supposed to work. And then I find the cleft lip palate, and I was just completely, I did something wrong. Like, what's wrong with my body? Like, why is this,
Mm,
happening to me? Type of emotions.
yeah. It's really interesting. I've never thought about that, right? Like if my child was born with a cleft and I were younger,
Mm-hmm.
because I was actually 35, so I was I guess I was kind of an older mom. Was I 35? No, I lied. I totally lied. 33, I think. And yeah, because Giselle's gonna be 3. I was 33. So still like on kind of like, I'm an older mom, I guess. Not yeah, like so I just wonder how I would have taken the news differently given like my mindset at like 21 because I actually find that like and maybe this has happened to you as well. Like the older I've gotten, the more anxious I've become.
Yeah.
Just cuz you understand the world a little bit better. Like
Mm-hmm.
I just kind of feel like when I was 21 it was like, "Ah, it'll be fine."
Yeah.
It was just like no like
Go with the flow.
worries versus like now I'm like, "Oh my god, like what is going to happen? What is her life going to look like? What are all the things?" And I guess maybe that's a good question. Do you feel like you would have you taken it better if you were older or
I think the taking it, asking the right questions, and
yes.
saying like, okay, hey, what about this? Where I was kind of just going with like what doctor said, and then like my parents or my in-laws, like, hey, did you ask this? Did you? And I was like, whoa, no, I didn't ask that.
Yeah.
So I think that would be the big difference. Is it would be easier for me to break it down because I feel like it's well known more now than usual. Um, Instead of being like closed off and sheltered and not knowing like anything. Like, be afraid to ask, like, what it is. Like, if you're ashamed of what your
Mm-hmm.
baby has. And I know that's really rough to mean to hard to say, but like that's what like goes through your head is like what did I do? Or you don't want to ask because you don't want people to make fun of or blame you, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah. No, I think that everyone experiences that at some level
Mm-hmm.
in this journey. It's like, I think first it's like the worry about quality of life, like because a lot of teams will tell you like everything, right? Like they give you worst case scenario. And then from what we know, it's like most kids they have a cleft, they get their repairs, the surgeries are hard, the questions are hard, but
Mm-hmm.
um like quote unquote normal like development still occurs, right? For
Right.
like the majority of cases. And so yeah, that it's really hard to process that in the beginning because they don't want to tell you like, hey, um they want to give you all of the options and
Yeah.
they don't really know what that could look like for you and your child. And so while sometimes it's helpful, it can also be like really scary for families. So
Mine actually was the opposite. So being um on post, the my parents are like, hey, ask about NICU because I knew she was gonna have to be, and I was like, I don't know if they do. Well, they don't have a NICU Womack. You have to go to UNC, which is like an hour away. And I was like, wait, so I have to deliver and then like let my baby go an hour away? Like, I no, like no. So I kept asking, do you know like what happens? Do we do like surgeries? Like, do I just deliver and then like wait? And all I got was, we just wait till baby's born. And I was like, well,
mm,
what does that mean? So I had that aspect until once my husband got out. I was 8 months pregnant when he got out of the military and we moved to Orlando. No one see me because, of course, I was a high risk pregnancy. So when I checked myself into the ER, that's when I met her surgeon's team. And because at that point, like all your like amniotic fluid is gone at that point, it was kind of hard to see how severe the palate and lip was. But he did what, so like what you're saying is, okay, hey, I'm gonna tell you from the least to the worst scenario, and I'm gonna break it down. And it's not to scare you. I just want to be upfront and inform you. And she happened to be the worst case, but he broke it down in a way where it wasn't overwhelming, but like self-soothing at the same time, even though it's like the most scariest thing when you're saying, hey, we're going to do this surgery and that surgery and she's going to be able to do this, and I'm like, oh, okay.
yeah. I mean, at least though, right? Like,
Yeah.
like at least I think the knowing is the thing that is helpful. Like
Yeah.
to know what the journey is going to look like. So Giselle actually was at UNC. So I was gonna ask you if you ended up moving to UNC, but thankfully it would sounds like you moved to an actual clef team in Orlando, which
Yeah.
is awesome. Yeah. So tell me about when Sophia was born.
Oh, she was a joy. She actually came out when we went through the whole, like NICU. I mean, there's delivering your first child is just like, it's an experience you can't like get people to understand unless you're a mom. Like, it didn't matter what she looked like. It didn't matter, what the steps you were going to have to do. It was just like, she's breathing, like she's crying, and it's just an overwhelm of enjoyment that, you just brought this little girl into your life, which was the beautiful part.
Did they induce you, or did they, or did you, your water break, or,
No,
you
actually, I didn't get induced or my water broke. I just started getting contractions, and I kept getting a lot of Braxton Hicks throughout it,
Mm.
and sick, literally sick for 8 months. I did. She was my only one that I could not keep food, water, nothing. And so I just went to the hospital, and I was contracting. And of course, they're like, you're not dilated enough. You got to walk around. So I walked
Mm.
around. But I hit my 40-week mark with her, and it was 18 hours long.
Wow. I would never forget, walking around, they made me walk as well.
Yeah,
And I think, post-COVID, they've, realized that moms can, what do you call that? Labor at home longer.
right. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. And so I was literally walking around the hospital sobbing because I just, wanted them to, take me. I was in so much pain, and they would
Oh, yeah.
not admit me. And they were like, "Once you can try to take a walk to see if you'll get, a few more inches,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm sorry, we can't admit you." And I was in so much pain that, oh my goodness, I was so pathetic. But anyway.
It's a different, well, because I've had the two other, I kind of knew the feeling, but it was nothing like the first one.
Yeah.
Like my second one, I was induced, which was a totally different experience. And then the third one, my water broke. So it was the first one, it was like you said, I was in agony. Like
Yeah.
it was, I mean, and then you get the pregnancy anger comes out, and I just remember walking around and holding on to high top tables, like this hurts so bad, and my we don't have to scream. I'm like, this is a birthing hospital.
I could not believe it. I was like, I swear, I watched so many YouTube videos, and I was like, "Alright, I'm ready, I got it." And I tell everyone, there is nothing that can prepare you for birth. I mean, I guess you can, do all the things, but, even when people describe the feeling, it's not really what people say, and I always say, the best description that I've heard, right? I've heard someone say this. It is like a Charlie horse in your stomach. That is the best description
Yeah,
because it gets so tight, it feels like everything is, it's
contracting. Yeah.
till it's a max,
Mm-hmm.
and then finally, releases and you feel some relief, but then I mean, that's the difficult part is that
Yeah.
it just comes right back.
You don't get a second.
Oh my god. Oh, that's been the best description, but even that is okay, maybe I don't know, but, yeah, it was so hard to do that, and so, okay, so she is born. Did she end up having to go straight to the NICU, or what was that experience like for you?
So right after I delivered, I got the 5 minute skin to skin, and then the whole team was there. So they took her, evaluated her, kind of measured her palates, and kind of got an overview. Um, and she went the hospital here in Orlando. They have, I think it's 15 different floors of NICU, depending on the severity of what you need. And the first one, because she was having trouble eating, she was on the really high risk, where they had a feeding tube through her nose. But then each week she went through the different levels. Like if she improved, or then she went to another level with more quiet area with one or two babies, and then finally the last one, it was kind of like a family resort where you're able to be in there, have your own little living quarters.
Yeah. So you mentioned her having trouble eating. Did she have a feeding tube place, or were you able to kind of get the bottles, or did you use a Haberman?
Yeah, I had to use the Haberman bottle. Um, but at first, the suction for her wasn't strong enough. So they put the tube in until I was able to, because obviously I couldn't breastfeed. Um, so I was pumping, and then eventually she came off. I think it wasn't even that long. It was probably like 6 or 7 hours. Like it wasn't like 2 or 3 days. So
Oh,
it was really short.
oh, wow. Well, that's amazing.
Yes.
Yeah, and then did you feed her with the Haberman bottle, like, all throughout the time that she was using a bottle, or were you able to switch to, like, a Dr. Brown's or a Pigeon?
No, I used the Haberman the whole time until we went to like the sippy cup where we cut the big hole before her surgery to kind of get her to learn the flow a little bit faster. Um, but the whole time, that's the only one that I used.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I've heard that, the Haberman it's a little tricky because you have to kind of, like, learn their flow and, like, like, you don't wanna, like
It's like you gotta like um, kind of like push your fingers together to like make it come out. Um, so normally when you have your first baby and everybody wants to help you and everybody wants to feed her, and I'm like showing them how, and they're like, I feel like I'm gonna choke her. And so
Mhm.
then they're like, no, you could do it.
Yeah. See, that's the other thing. I feel like I was literally like, if you showed any ounce of like you didn't look confident,
Yeah.
just never mind, just give
Yeah.
her back.
Yeah.
I couldn't. I'm like, I'm too anxious for this. Just it's okay. I'll just feed
Yeah.
her. But then I was thinking, like, if I was younger, I may have just been like, ah, whatever. Like, I don't know. I just
Yeah.
like you'll figure it out. But yeah, like I was like literally like um, I have a stepdaughter and she is 8, she just turned 8, and I was even my fiancé really wanted her to, like, be involved in just, like, helping out, right, in small ways, and so he would, like, let her feed her, and I'm like, "I do not want this," like
Yeah.
like, "Please, like, stop." And they would just do it behind my back anyway,
Yeah.
but it was so nerve-wracking to me, but it was also because I had a choking incident, and
Right.
maybe if I hadn't, I wouldn't have felt that way, but yeah, that was kinda tough. You mentioned, like, your in-laws and your mom and your extended family. What was their, like, reaction to this whole process up to now, and how were they when she was born and they were finally able to see her cleft?
They were so supportive through all of it. They were both, my mom and my mother-in-law were both in the delivery room with me. So they were kind of keeping my nerves down. And then once they saw her and they had the same reaction, how beautiful she was. She's a healthy, loving, beautiful baby. Um, all through her surgeries, of course, as a mom, it's like the toughest to see your kid go through such an invasive one. It's not like you're going in and getting, a little staple. So through all that, they've been through all the surgeries. They've stood by her side. Even when as like a mom and my husband are completely like distraught, they're like, "It's gonna be okay. She's gonna be able," and you go through that denial, and I'm like, "Okay, I'll have faith. She's gonna be okay." And so just that lifting up support of it all is it makes you a little bit less stressed in the same time.
Yeah. What are some I find it, like, fascinating and, like, just so it gives me a great feeling that once you move from, like, one hospital to the next hospital in Orlando and that you finally got, like, a full understanding of what her diagnosis is and you were able to, like, meet with a team that, like, kind of does this work. What were some of the initial questions that you had for your team? Like, what are some and I know back then it's different than now. What are some things that people should just ask in general?
Some of the questions that like I asked, like, would she be able to like drink from a straw? Is she eventually like gonna be able to, like have like drinking from the straw, the sucking aspect? How's her speech? Like, is that gonna be okay? Or like, is she gonna have like multiple surgeries? Like, going through all those questions. And I think each case is different. So, and depending on your team, each is different as well. But just trying to ask like the small little things, I would say, that instead of thinking of like down the long haul, kind of think small and focus on
Mm,
those questions instead of overwhelming yourself of all the other ones
mm,
at the same time. That's what I did.
yeah. Yeah. And what is some things that your team talked to you about that were really like supportive or helpful for you specifically?
For me, just reassuring that she may not be able to do these things now, but she will, and that everything, is going to be fine. And you have all of our support, not just for her, but as like a family unit. Uh,
Mm, yeah. Did you meet with the surgeon first or
um,
like who all like made up this your team?
so yeah, I met the surgeon first when I had to go to the ER, and so he called me back in, and they did all my scans, and he's the one that broke it down of this is what we're gonna do of least the worst, and you know having all these other doctors, because military, you get a military doctor, and then that doctor moves, so then you get another doctor. So at least having a doctor that I knew was going to be there and consistent of what was going to happen, and not having to change and start all over again. So I met with him first, and then we started to kind of introduced with like the speech therapists and the ENT doctors and the orthodontists and the social workers. So it was like all these people started coming in. And at first it's very overwhelming. You're like, whoa, there's a lot of people. But then like now, like the palate team all comes together. So they don't do their own thing unless they talk about it as a team. And you don't have to go all over different creations to see everybody. Like make appointment here, make it there. So that was reassuring for me that they're all going to collaborate together and make a choice, not go on their own personal beliefs.
Yeah. That there's like a plan in place
Yeah.
for her. Yeah. What when did she have her first surgery? Did they wait like 3 months or
Yeah. So her first surgery, she was 3 months old, which was the lip. And that one, everything went smoothly. Her surgeon wanted her just for precautions. He always said, "I'm going to keep you for one night just to make sure everything's okay." Um, it was, and then when we came home, she had, the stitches, so she had to wear these no arms, and I felt like I was like a horrible mother to keep her in those, and I couldn't do it. So I would have her sit with me, or um, I felt like I was restraining her, and I'm like, as long as she doesn't try to, nick her stitch out. But after like that surgery for her was probably the smoothest one, and she doesn't remember it. So
Yeah. I felt so guilty about the no-nos too. I just told the doctor, I like,
yeah,
"Look, I took them off, okay? Just I couldn't do it." Like, it's just so and then
no,
I've seen moms sorry, I see moms, like, try to prep their kids, so they, like, make them sleep with them.
oh
It's like,
no, I couldn't do it.
It's like
I could. It was hard enough to, because post surgery, you can't have them eat for 8+ hours. So that was hard enough for me to not get her to eat. And so I couldn't sit there and have her be restrained and just look at you kind of
Yeah.
like, why?
Why can't I use my arms? What was your initial reaction like seeing her after her repair?
It was amazing. Because you look at, obviously when she was born, like that was who she was, like beautiful and everything. And so once you see it, it's like it almost puts you in like shock, like wow, like look what somebody can do. And of course, like it was all swollen, so you have to wait till it like comes down a little bit. But the initial was just like wow, like I can't believe like everything is in line from where it was. It's almost like a shocker.
Yeah. I know, like, the NAM is fairly new. Did you all do any, like, taping or anything like that before her repair?
Mm-mm. No.
Wow.
So yeah, when I heard some of that, I was like, oh, I don't even know what that is.
Yeah,
I had to look it up.
it's hard though, like, it's tough on families to do it's kinda like the no-nos 'cause it's just another thing that's, like, in the way and just you have to get used to, and the baby has to adjust to it, and it's just so, like, difficult to do that. No, so Giselle is palate affected only, and so
Oh,
she didn't have to go through any taping or anything like that, but it is a common it's really, really big now, and they're even coming out with different things like, Plana, which is it's called Lipoline, and it's supposed to be in place of the NAM, that is less because for the NAM, you have to go every week to have it adjusted by the orthodontist, and for the Plana, you can kind of just there's different sizes, and so they're saying that it works kinda the same, but, of course, there's still, like, studies to be made. But then there's also something called a Latham device, and what they do is they will screw in kind of like a retainer, and it's gonna push it closer and closer at before you get to surgery. So that one is a little, like, kinda semi-permanent. The thing that parents don't really like about that one is that it's an additional surgery, like, you have to have it surgically placed, yeah. So, I think that's why some parents opt not to do it, and obviously, there are cases that turn out totally fine without any of this, so it's really up to the patient and also, what your doctors and your teams are advising you. Um and so next after that is typically after lip repair is palate repair. Do you remember how old she was during palate repair?
yep. So palate repair, she was 1. And then the same thing, like her surgeon kept her overnight. That one, because she was, I wouldn't say more aware, but she had a harder issue coming out of anesthesia than the first one. So when she woke up, um, nobody was there. So, and then once we were able to go back, she just constant like throw up, throw up, throw up. Um, so that one for her was harder for her to come out of and not be so sick from the medicine.
Yeah. Do you know oh, she was sick from the anesthesia?
Yeah,
Wow. Oh, that's so scary. 'Cause
yeah,
then you think like, is this gonna impact the repair? Like, is it oh, man. Like, this constant, like, throw up and, like, gagging and
yeah,
stuff, and then there was no palate there before, so I would imagine, like, she may be, like, choking some and, like, oh, that's awful.
yeah. Because with hers, it went straight back, so they had to take literally like the left and right and pull them together. And
Mm-hmm.
so all of, just in general being so swollen with all these stitches in your mouth, um, getting her to finally like eat started to happen. So a lot of the nausea was from the anesthesia, but after the first couple of days, she started to like come back down, start to eat.
Yeah. How did her team handle that, or how did they kind of support you through that? Because I kind of feel like that's really scary.
They were on call, so they would just keep coming in, checking on her, making sure like, hey, is she improving? If she's not, we want to keep her. We want to, keep her, evaluating her. Um, so her surgeon came almost every day to follow up, and then like the team and nurses that they work with always were communicating like, hey, some people come out of anesthesia like this. This is, all normal. As long as she's eating, then it, the swelling and everything will be okay. So they kind of like reassured that this is a normal, just depending on the person,
Mm. Yeah.
if they're reacting to the medicine or them waking up. Like everybody wakes up differently.
Yeah. Did she have to stay like additional days because of that?
Yeah, she stayed an additional 2 days because of throwing up, and then because she was throwing up all the food she was getting, she wasn't able to keep down.
Yeah.
So they kept her just until they could get everything under control.
Gotcha. Yeah. I'm sorry to hear that because that's like so. I mean, it's one thing to go into surgery, and then when things don't go exactly as planned, it's like, it's
Mhm.
really, oh man, that's like really, really tough. Um, so now, like after that surgery, I imagine you have this long time where there's no kind of, you're over that first year, so you're kind of like back to yourself a little bit, or like there's less stress, like your medical journey kind of slows down. And then you get to bone graft, right? Unless you, did you have another surgery in between then?
No. So just in between, you would just have it was like your yearly palate team meeting, just to kind of see like her development, where she's at, check her, jawline, because they say, like, okay, when you're one, you'll get this one, and then when you're this age, but it just depends on their body because everybody grows faster, smaller, like differently. Um, so they just kept going, okay, hey, we will try it, when she's maybe 8 or 9, and then we would go and she's not ready yet. So it's kind of like pushed it back until um, this past one because they didn't want her jaw line to be in the place where it wasn't movable anymore. So it was like at that step. So then when she turned 10 is when they started to talk about the bone graft, which was more invasive than the first two. And to add on top of that, she was well aware and awake of what was happening through all of this one. She doesn't remember, the first one or the second one without just with our story. She does.
Right. Yeah. How do you prepare her for that? Like how, like
At first it was like a talk that, this is what they're gonna do. Her big thing was the IV. Out of all of it, when she had to have one of her canine tooth removed prior because it was growing up in her palate. Because sometimes what happens is with the teeth, because of how the palate um, doesn't align with all your teeth, um, because it never had it there. So a lot of her teeth, her adult teeth, were getting stuck there. And so she had that IV, and it was the most traumatic thing. You would have thought somebody was trying to kill her. It was so bad. So this surgery, she kept asking, um, can I get, like laughing gas or, like a calming, and they, because of her weight, they allowed it, and that's all she cared about. She was just like, I don't want to have the IV in. So they said, "We'll do it when you go to sleep." Um,
Mm. Yeah, no, I am laughing because I don't know, because sometimes people make it harder on themselves, and then sometimes, like, the nurse just really sucks. So,
yeah,
was it, like, the case of, like, the nurse being terrible at her job, or was she just, like, freaking out?
no, she was just freaking out as soon as she,
Poor
like me.
baby.
I can have the IVs. I just can't look at you inserting the needle. And so I was like, "Hey, just look away. You'll be fine." And just putting that band on and tightening and
It's the buildup.
having that the needle prick, and then if she missed, it was like you only get one shot. I can't put her through this. And so once she found out and I found out that she didn't have to have that, she could just have the little happy juice that they give you. Um, then it was a lot easier. But to prepare you for the surgery, out of all one, I would say this one was the worst because she was aware, but because of how swollen. I mean, after her surgery, like day 3, it looked like I beat her to death. Like, she looked like a chipmunk. Her eyes were starting to turn black and blue, and she could only eat soft food on like a liquid diet. And she just was, as a mom, of course, you want to take your kid's pain away. Like, you want to take that place. And there was nothing that I could say, do to make her feel better. Just telling her, hey, like, we're gonna get through this. Like, it's not gonna be this bad in a couple weeks. And I think she had the counteract that I did when I first found out, because it hit her like, why did I have to be born with this? Because she was in so much pain. Like, why did God give this to me? And I'm like, baby, you're unique. Like, you are stronger than you think, and you have been through so much. Like, you can do this one. So to hear her feel like something like was wrong, that this shouldn't happen to her, broke your heart as a mom.
Yeah. Wow. That had to be so hard. Yeah. I've heard that. I've heard that the swelling, that's, like, the worst part of it all, is that the swelling just gets so bad, and they're hungry, and then they look in the mirror, and they are all swollen, and then it makes them angry, because of it, and so you're dealing with somebody that
It
has
was
rage all day. It's
it was because she's sweet, quiet, you know, doesn't raise her voice, and then you see this, and you're like, oh my. It's like a total, and I know it's not hers because she's in pain, but you're like, who are you?
No, yeah.
Which broke your heart because you want to take the place of it. But the good thing is, her surgeon's team, um, explained that this would be what would happen. So it wasn't like, you go home and then a couple of days later, that's what your kid looks like. And you're like, oh, there's something wrong. Like, they prepared you to help you through it, and then also to help your child through it, which was really important. And then to hope that it worked, because there's that. Um, I've heard a lot of people have it from like their hip. We didn't do the hip just because of how extra invasive, it would be. So they took it off the shelf, like the bone off the shelf, which is actually pretty interesting because the way they described it is it's um, like cell based, and I guess it's like croutons that like come together and then they form with her body, uh, which I thought was pretty cool. And then there was a chance that it wouldn't work. So you had to wait the 6 months. So in that 6 months, you're just praying, please work, because if it didn't, you have to do it all over again.
Mm-hmm.
And hers worked,
Yeah.
and everything was successful. So I was super, super glad. And now we're just in the ortho phase, orthodontists and braces and getting her, jaw and everything to come back and be aligned. And then like just her speech.
Yeah. And so you talked about like her different surgeons, and you did talk about early on. I don't know if we were recording yet when you mentioned this, but you said someone on her team had passed, or what? Was it her surgeon that passed?
Yeah, it was her surgeon who passed that was with me from when she was in my stomach. So of course I was distraught. I was just like who can take his place, like not just like for her but as like a patient, like for me, of breaking it down and supporting and just very genuine human being, to then find out that he passed. It was like bittersweet because I know that time is what I needed and was preparing me for that. Because then the person that took his place worked with him side by side. He just wasn't like the main surgeon. Um, so I wasn't having to then trust somebody new completely with your child going under. But the surgeon she has now is absolutely amazing. Um, but it is that little bit of difference because you're with somebody for so long, almost, you know 11 plus 12 years. And so yeah, that was a hard one. And even for Sophia, like when she found out, she was heartbroken, and then for her to trust somebody else, and even the days up to it, she was like, I wish Dr. Ruiz was here to do this. And I'd have to reassure her, the team that he has for you, that he's trained, they're just as good. And so,
Yeah. I mean, she saw him every year. Like, so it was
yeah,
you built these bonds and these relationships with people over, such a long period of time, and then suddenly, and then always like death is, I feel like, is kind of hard to explain to kids as well.
right.
So that's
Well, and
challenging.
the other part is also because they have the whole team. So even the whole entire team was impacted. And so even when you would go to the office, I mean, the first times we were going in there preparing for like surgeries, I couldn't even talk. Like I just cry. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. And they're like, it's okay, it's okay. And then I felt bad because this other surgeon now has to take place of all his patients. And now he's in the spot of like, oh, we miss Ruiz, but him. And so after her last surgery, I reassured him, like, even though her surgeon has been with her for so long, I'm like, you're just as good. Like, I trusted you 100% with my kid, and I wouldn't ask for anybody different, to kind of give him props and reassurance. Like, you are just as important.
Yeah.
You just haven't been through the whole journey with me and her.
Yeah. Kudos to you, because I don't think that people would have that kind of like I don't know, what you would call that, like foresight, or like just that compassion that, like, hey, he's probably going through a lot to like step into these shoes that
Yeah,
he wasn't expecting to, I imagine. So yeah, that is like really great that you were able to share that with him. Um, so after bone graft, how was Sophia feeling, like, about the way that she looked, or how she was feeling in general?
she was actually feeling pretty good once all like this swelling, and she was able to eat. The biggest thing, because you have to be on a liquid diet. The biggest thing she wanted to do was be able to eat a bagel. and pickles. So as soon as she got to have a bagel and a pickle, she was good.
Oh, and what did you like, what did she eat the majority of the time when she was on liquid diet?
She would have like the protein shakes, slushies, ice cream. What else did you have?
I want pot pizza, so more blended up for me.
A blended
Oh yeah,
pizza?
yeah. Sounds
How
appetizing.
how was that, Sophia?
Good.
Yeah? I guess when you're
Anything I want,
hungry.
she's blended it up for me. Anything I want, I guess, is blended up.
Aw, that is so sweet.
So that was her. She's picky, so to get her, that's why I gave her the protein shakes because that's what was keeping her, nutrition up.
So, what was your if you don't mind me asking you, Sophia, what was your favorite thing to eat during that time?
Uh, my favorite thing to probably eat was like um probably just like when I got to eat like my mac and cheese.
Yeah,
She
that sounds good. Do you mind if I ask you a few more questions?
Mm-mm.
Okay. What do you think was the worst part of your bone graft surgery?
Probably the pain on my cheek and not able to like go outside
Mm.
and like run around and like missing like the first week of school.
Oh yeah, I've heard that a lot. That's really challenging. You wanted to be there for like the first day so that you can like meet everyone and
Yeah,
like
because like on my first day they do like awesome crafts
the fun
and the
stuff.
fun stuff, and then you
She wasn't even allowed to do recess or like
well, I
high
didn't have recess at
activity.
that time. It was PE.
Oh, PE. She couldn't do PE.
Oh yeah, because they're worried that you may accidentally like hurt yourself or your
Cause
Like
in
trip, fall.
third grade I got hit with a frisbee in my nose.
what? How'd you
It
handle
was like
that?
a hard one, wasn't like a rubber one.
Oh, how'd you handle that?
I went home early because it was like hurting my nose a lot.
Oh,
It was like right in the middle of it,
oh
so
wow.
I just went home early. But I still have to go to softball practice sadly.
Oh wow. Yeah. And so how do you I guess maybe this is like a little bit of a general question, but have you talked to your mom about your cleft a lot?
I asked her like questions about it a lot. Cause I had this friend named Joshua who has the same thing as me.
Oh, that's wonderful. Do you guys talk
Yeah,
to each
her.
other about it?
Sometimes at school was like not often we would talk about it at school. Once in a while we do, yeah.
Oh, wow. Do you know what kind of cleft he has?
I think he had the same one as me, but he just got it at the hip.
Oh.
Yeah, he just
Mm.
he just finished his bone graft. So after she recovered, then he went, and now he's in recovery. So it was kind of like they tag team each other. A lot of people, unless she has the cleft, so you can notice it. If you don't notice, a lot of people don't know what it is. And lately, I feel like they've been all over the place. At least in like I'll go to the store and I'm like, "Oh, you have a cleft," and they're like, "Yes," which is crazy.
I
But
don't notice it though. I don't pay attention.
no, she only has like a little scar, um, and like the little lip is raised a little bit. But other than that, like when I show people their photos of how she was born till now, they're like,
Mhm.
"What?"
Yeah. It's fascinating. Did you give your friend any advice about bone graft? Anything, any helpful tips?
I say he'll probably like be in a lot of pain for a couple of days, and he had to like miss recess. But I said the best part about it is to eat ice cream and he can't stop you. You have a reason now.
I
What? My class loves ice cream.
I guess what's the first time you mentioned you don't notice clefts? Are you saying that you don't notice them on other people or you don't really notice it on yourself?
I notice it on myself, but like I don't pay attention to other people because I'm normally on the phone with my friends a
Mhm.
lot.
Yeah. When did you start to notice your cleft or start to ask questions about your cleft?
I started to ask questions after my second surgery, and when my third surgery was coming up, I started asking a lot of questions.
Were you nervous about your bone graft?
I wasn't nervous actually, and I only got like 30 minutes of sleep that night because we were up all night playing Pokemon. So
Wait, you said you weren't nervous, but you only got 30 minutes?
yeah, 30 minutes of sleep because we were up all night how to play Pokemon.
You are so cute.
The whole the whole table was clustered with Pokemon cards.
Well, lucky you. I guess you got some good sleep the next day, huh?
Mhm.
Well, that's all the questions I have for you, Sophia. Do you have any questions for me, maybe?
No.
So back to you, Brittany. I in the beginning, I was like thinking about this because, of course, like Sophia's 11, and then you have a 3 and a 2-year-old. Was there some nervousness to have another child in between?
There was, but there was
Bella was the worst one.
mixed reviews of like the 1 in 800 babies that can have this. But then because I was so sick, I took Zofran, and then a lot of Zofran claims came out that taking this could be a possible side effect. Um, so it's kind of like from once I took that, my next two pregnancies, I wasn't nauseous as bad, but I refused to take any medicine because of kind of the mixed feeling. Is this because of medicine? Is this like the 1 in 800 babies? So just to like keep myself sheltered, I just I didn't take it. I didn't care if I was sick, throwing up. It didn't matter to me. Uh, so then once everything was fine, um, during that anatomy, because you now prepared your mind of, okay, I know if I have another one, I know what to expect. I know what's happening. Um, and it wasn't any of that. And then once I had them, just the feeling of just taking a bottle or breastfeeding, it was like a different experience. It was like, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it wasn't as like traumatizing. It was just like, oh, okay, here we go. Um, from what I had to do with Sophia, it was like night and day, easy, no problems, not having to, panic and am I choking her? Is like, is it coming out her nose? Like all these different things you had to worry about with Sophia. I didn't have that with the other two.
Yeah. So, what do you think has been the hardest part of your journey? Do you think it was like diagnosis or like, I don't know, your most recent thing is so long, like such a long span of time. What do you think has been the hardest part?
I think the hardest part was like a mixture of like first finding out because there was so much of the unknown and not understanding exactly what a cleft and palate and the journey that it entails. Um, it kind of just focused more on we'll do surgeries, and they don't talk about after surgeries. Her speech is impacted, her teeth are impacted. So it was kind of that journey, and then just like the ending part of it for her, like at least for now, surgery wise.
Yeah. And just in closing, what do you think has been that biggest lesson that you've learned in all of this and just along this journey? Like it could be anything, but what do you think is the biggest lesson?
I would say the biggest lesson for me was like trusting and having the faith that no matter what happens, like she's okay. like just the lessons of trusting and having faith that there's a reason for this. We may not understand the reason, but just to know that she's going to be okay, and that I have that team and trusting other people with your child. Like that was my biggest lesson is trying to let other people help me and that be okay.
Yeah. Oh, that's so good. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Brittany, for joining me today. I really appreciate the conversation.
Thank you.
And thank you all for listening to the Our Forever Smiles podcast. Be sure to subscribe and submit a review of the podcast wherever you listen. I hope that you've enjoyed this audio experience. Maybe you cried a little, laughed a little, but more importantly, I hope that you feel a little piece of reassurance and even joy in your journey. Talk to you next week. Hey everyone, it's Laura here. I'm popping in today because I need your help. If Our Forever Smiles has ever helped you, if you've learned something new, felt less alone, or found hope through this podcast, then I'm asking you to help keep it going. Creating this podcast, sharing stories, and building a space where Cleft families feel seen and supported is something that I pour my heart into. But the truth is, I cannot do it alone. If we want to reach more families and provide even more resources, we need your support. So I thought of a creative way to do this. For just $2 a month, you can help ensure this podcast keeps going strong. For $5 a month, you'll unlock exclusive Moms in Real Life content, real unfiltered conversations about motherhood and career and everything in between. And then for $10 a month, you can get everything plus exclusive merch to show your support. If this podcast has helped you and you want to see it grow to help other families that are probably facing the very same challenges that you are facing right now, please consider supporting us today. Every dollar goes toward making a difference for Cleft families just like yours. And right now, we'll be using the funds to elevate the show for production. So we'll be able to add more video and just get new equipment. And as soon as this community is established and we're able to do more, we definitely plan to go beyond the scope of just this community. We want to be able to support scholarships for new craniofacial surgeons. We want to be able to support global surgeries and just really spread our efforts to continue to make an impact in our community. I just want to thank you in advance, and I'm just so grateful that you all are able to support me and support this community here. And it's definitely something that I'm really looking forward to. The link is in the show notes, and I just want to do a shameless plug here. The Moms in Real Life podcast is so cool, so candid, and yeah, it's definitely something that you'll want to check out. Thank you all again.